everybody, you know, he says, oh, don't say anything about me. I don't think this man needs any introduction, because I even just posted up on the feature thing, I'm like, here's a past shows where he's got props and he's dressed as a woman and there's a fan and there's all these things, and he's apparently got a puppet, which I'm kind of afraid of. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, please give it up for Mr. Bob Lawrence!
Welcome to the Bob Lawrence Audience Feedback Feature. Now, there was supposed to be a piano player here. A poet gives a reading in a forest, and only one person shows up. A tree falls and crushes that person. Ethical dilemma. Does the poet continue reading? Epistemological dilemma. If the poet continues, does the reading exist? A parable about audience. A friend of mine once went to a show, and he was the only guy who showed up. And the director said, we're going on. He didn't give him his money back, call the show off. He said, we're going on. They went through the entire play. And after the play was over, the cast, one by one, came out and embraced my friend. Aww. An audience gives feedback continuously across more channels than radio, shortwave, TV, satellite, and cable combined. To what can we compare this feedback? To a ball of light expanding at the speed of time. To a cold front made of iridescent eyes. But feedback is sometimes difficult to interpret. A guy might be sitting like this. He could be immersed in the sound and sense of your words. He could be daydreaming. He could be taking a nap, ripping one off. You just don't know. So tonight I'm going to get written feedback. My assistants, please. All right, so you'll be getting a 4. I'm going to be in the Soundophonic Challenge, and I tend to assume a lot of different personas, and I'm going to do 4. I'm going to do 4 monologues, and you're going to help me choose them. Okay? The instructions. If you need a pen, we also have a pen. The instructions are sort of self-explanatory. They're rated from 1 till 10. 10 is a knock your socks off kind of production. 1 is an insult to God and man. Now, when a friend of mine on Facebook, when I said that I'm doing the audience feedback feature, his line was, the tomatoes are ripe.
A gardener, right?
Yes, he's a gardener. All right. Okay. Everyone's getting settled out there. One thing about this stage, you can't see the audience. So I don't know how those things are going. I assume my assistants are doing a good job. And if you want to write comments, you may. All right? This makes it difficult for those poets who want to work on their own poems when they're featured. You never see that, of course. The first piece is, and it's kind of interesting, they'll go in descending age, from older to younger. The first piece is called Urn. Miss Fanning, my 10th grade English teacher, a petite gray-haired lady, said she loved to read poems and then go outside and hug trees. I could not understand that. Her favorite poem was The Grecian Urn. I hated it. Beauty is truth. No way. I am not beautiful. Like one day, my first year working at the supermarket, this delivery guy asks me, where'd you get those looks, kid? Now, 3 decades later, I have mellowed from ugly to all right, but not beautiful. And as produce manager, I handle things, carrot, ginger, garlic, squash, good things that are not beautiful. Last week I saw Miss Fanning's obituary, the wake in Newark, hours away out in Kendall County. Hey, why not? Good day for a drive. No casket. Her ashes in a cremation urn under an old photo where she had dark hair and a mischievous glint in her eyes. Some teachers showed up, but I was the only student. Kind of surprised me. Back home, I decided to check out that old poem, get inside of it, like figuring out what's going on in the mind of one of my kids. I saw John Keats in a museum, staring at this urn. The painted scene comes alive. A virgin cow struggling to get free. Burly helpers pin it down, hold it still, for a priest to slice its neck. Keats looks into the animal's eyes, sees the light of life become the blur of death. He circles to the other side of the urn. Another scene. A lush green forest. A handsome young man plays a flute. A lovely maiden swoons with desire. Keats imagines his own lover. Relives sex scenes you don't read in his poems. He presses his fingers on the exhibit case. His breath, laced with TB germs, glazes the glass. He closes his eyes, whispers, "My life, full of pain, fleeting. That urn, art, lasts. It is truth and beauty. Thou unravished bride of quietness." I'm sorry, Miss Fanning. I still think he's full of it. If there's no one to see it, art isn't nothing. It's not true or beautiful. It's nothing. Life is beauty and truth. But thanks anyway for the poem. Wonder if I could write one of my own. And this next one, I assume the identity of a 40-year-old housewife. The husband is here, and she's sitting here, and she's got some Strauss waltzes playing on the record player, and she's had a few to drink. Strauss waltzes. Now that's music. Real music. Not that garbage the kids listen to. What do they know of culture, tradition? I stayed in Europe at the age of 5. After that summer in Bavaria, I spoke only German. When I came back, the city streets were so tawdry, so gray. I was the youngest. They all doted on me. At my sweet 16, I wore a red dress. My brothers and sisters all brought presents. I held the pointer, led the recitation. Ist das not dein Schnitzelbank? Ja, das ist mein Schnitzelbank. Has it been over 20 years already? Living most of them with the likes of you? You're such a picture, passed out in your chair. A living ad for the one beer to have when you're having one too many. Always missing an action when it counts. Where were you when I had my miscarriage? You couldn't take off from your frickin' job delivering cupcakes to rich bitches who don't give a good goddamn about you or me. I could see the child, girl, tiny but flawless, shining from the secret depths of me, covered with mucus and blood. That's okay. Just let me hold my baby, doctor, please. But the baby died before she came out. Like a doll, lifeless. Lifeless as your dick after a few glasses of beer. So I couldn't touch my own child. The doctor says in his best, most solemn, "I'm sorry we just lost your baby voice. Even with modern medicine, there's a great risk for the mother and child with preeclampsia." We did what we could. Preeclampsia, fancy doctor word for death and failure. When they wheeled me back to my room, I hurt so much. I trembled and I sobbed until my throat was as sore as when they took the baby out. My roommate asked, "Where's your husband? And where were you? Where were you? Did you call any time during the day? I needed someone. Where were you? What word is there for derelict husband? You fucking bastard! Delivering cupcakes to rich bitches in Westchester. How did I ever marry the likes of you?" That's part of a domestic epic, by the way. An excerpt. And now for something a little lighter. Hi, everybody. All right, don't ham it up, Sam. Okay. And now I'm going to be a
She gets your panic.
husband, you know, a husband maybe in his 30s, all right?
And who is this?
And this is his puppet. Johnny, tell me, where did I come from? It all started with half a grapefruit rind and Jeffrey in his high chair eating Cheerios. I put 2 raisins in the rind for eyes, squeezed it open and closed to make it talk. Jeffrey laughed like crazy. At that moment, I was the funniest show on earth. My wife thought, Jeffrey digs puppets, so she bought you and all the rest at stores and garage sales. Most of your friends left with her when she won custody. I miss them, Johnny. Why the divorce? Sarah kept criticizing me, kept saying, you don't make me happy. She also said, Jeffrey is my life. So I figured her divorce threats were a bluff. Still, every time she laid one on me, I'd plead, please don't leave. Keep us together. Until that one time on the back porch, I was drying a tossed salad by whipping it around in a wire basket. She steps in, droplets get in her eyes. What are you doing? I want a divorce. You want a divorce? All right. Get your own place, go back to work, and spend your days separated from Jeffrey. The next week, divorce papers were on the kitchen table. Then we started having fun. Doing birthday parties for kids. Hey, there's a birthday boy here. Where is he? Where is he? Yeah, I know. It was therapeutic, too. Until today. And the birthday boy is one of Jeffrey's friends. When he sees me in the clown suit, the whole divorce thing comes crashing down on him. He's a sensitive kid. I want to go comfort him, but all those kids sitting on the floor, smiling at me. The show has to go on. Afterwards, I kneel on the floor by the bed where she's holding Jeffrey. Please, Sarah, let's give it one more try. It's too late. My boyfriend will be picking me up soon. Why don't you leave? It's over. You're over. No. Yes. No, I've become your other self. Things will get better. The sun will rise. New days will dawn. You can't give up on me, Donnie. You can't.
All right.
And now a short one where I'm a teenage girl. Coming of age in Chicago. Sawhorses barricade the street for our annual block party. Little kids frolic to the boombox, tethered to the neighbor's house by a yucky orange extension cord. Parents stand around and jabber. The old folks sit and watch. Ooh, and then the real action gets the number of jelly beans, toss the colorful water balloons, squeeze under the limbo pole, leading up to the grand finale. Smoking black-belly barbecues up and down the street. Hot dogs and burgers for all, a real gourmet feast. Katie, all cooped up in your room, turn down that music, will you? Come on down and join us and have some fun. So says my mom. I'm blowing this scene, I tell her. Nothing here but organized boredom. You can reach me on my cell. As I rushed past her out the door, I smelled her perfume. Ode to submission and resolve that her life will not be my life.
Yeah.
By the way, after the show here at 10 o'clock at Multiculti, my son Andrew's organ yank band is playing. Okay. I'd like to read an audience open mic Zen story and then close with one piece. Before he became a great Zen master, Bangzan spent many years in pursuit of enlightenment, but it eluded him. Then one day, as he was walking in the marketplace, he overheard a conversation between a butcher and his customer. "Give me the best piece of meat you have," said the customer. And the butcher replied, "Every piece of meat I have is the best." There is no piece of meat here that is not the best. Upon hearing this, Bonzan became enlightened. That's an open mic piece. All right, I'm going to do a piece that appeared in CC&D, The Small Stuff. Don't sweat the small stuff, Bobby. I've been hearing that since the year 1, but the small stuff still drives me nuts. I'm at the supermarket in the express lane. The sign says 10 items or less. I'm within the limits. A bottle of beer and a bag of chips. But the guy in front of the line is unloading 20 items onto the conveyor belt. Can't you count past 10? Did you flunk kindergarten? Or do you put your convenience ahead of everyone else's? Mr. Cashier, why don't you do your job? Tell this guy to move his massive order to the next aisle. You don't want to offend him. Well, you're offending me. I'm riding the L, pushing out of my mind the big stuff that can go wrong. The train lighting on fire. The tracks lighting on fire. The train falling off the tracks. The train attacked by a terrorist or run-of-the-mill nut job. Merrily I ooze into my crossword puzzle when a shrill voice shatters my peace. A woman screaming into her cell phone. Oh, David, you know that I love you. I hope David knows because now the entire car knows. Does David have a hearing problem? Or do you enjoy exposing your voice the way a pervert exposes his body? Next time, send a text. The small stuff, the small stuff. Like I'm waiting in the left lane for the light to change. The car ahead of me signals a left turn after the light changes, and I'm stuck behind him. Why don't you signal before you reach the intersection? Afraid of wearing out the light bulb? What do you think it's there for? I'm in a public washroom. Really gotta take a dump. I slip into the stall and look down at a seat speckled with droplets of yellow liquid. Hey, bad enough you're too squeamish to pee at the urinal like the rest of us. Next time, lift up the toilet seat. It's 2:45 in the morning. Time to snooze. I lie down. The sweet summer night breeze blows somnambulantly across my cheek. And the birds start chirping real loud. What is wrong with you feathered fiends? It's another 2 hours before dawn. Those are street lights, not the sun. I ask myself, why am I so upset by the small stuff? Do I have a rage for order? A loathing for absurdity? Is each little item a splinter, and I herb covered with splinters? Or am I walking on a path? The only way to walk is forward. The small stuff, the little things, are pebbles cluttering my path. I kick the pebbles hard, and their clattering distracts me from what's waiting at the end of the path. A gaping, unforgiving abyss.
Whoa!
Thank you.
Is that it? Are you done with that?
That's it.
Oh, well,
It's 8:59.
Wow,
Thank you, Janet. Thank you,
well, I was going to
everybody.
say, by the way, I don't think that was loud enough. I want to give it up one more time. Everybody
Yeah,
give it up for
real
us. Give it up for us. Yeah. You know, we never know what the other stuff is. I'm like, what? The double is what? And then that's hardly fair. But they... So, and I'm writing all my details about your pieces and everything, and I'm like, what? It's undue? What? But I got the small stuff. Thank you, CCD Magazine. Whatever. No, but thank you. You're the awesomest. And I want to say something about features that are coming up. Because in 2 weeks, I gotta look at the schedule here because I want to make sure I get the dates right. On September 12th. Because of course nothing's going on Labor Day week. But on September 12th we've got Jackie Wolk as a feature. And on September 26th we've got LJ Genova. And I don't know how things are going to be going. There's a chance, because I know she wanted to do some Scarborough stuff. Janine Ramos-Luke might be able to pull off, depending on her turnout, to do some Scarborough stuff on either one of those 2 nights. I'm giving that out to everybody. We've got a bonus week on October 3rd. I know, it's a week afterward, but that's because Francois Leroux, the Ha Man of South Africa, is actually going to be in town, and he's got a feature here, and he is a phenomenal cellist and a crazy musician. He does stuff all around the world, and this is a part of his world tour. He's stopping for that.